Thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Jesse Wyrick, and just crunching some headlines. Looks like a new poll came out. Most Americans see Trump as a dangerous dictator. Axios.com. All Americans, 52%, 87% Democrats, 56% Independents, 17% Republicans. I think it's more Republicans that are just not really saying it out loud. I'm one of them. Um, Looks like we're going to have a water czar in the next 100 days. This, according to Just the News. If Trump's tariffs work out, he's going to look like a rock star. It's a pretty big if. Uh, let's see here. I want to read about that water czar. Oh, this is a good quote from Steve Moore. I'm feeling pretty confident, not entirely, and I'm not saying that the motion sickness we've all had on the stock market is over. I think we're going to have up days and down days based on the progress that's been made, but it sure looks a lot better than it did a couple of weeks ago. That's real confident. Where is the water czar? Oh yeah, and the taxes are going to go up. Yeah, taxes will go up, punishing 22% tax increase per individual. That's going to be fun. Um, Water is the new oil. Here we go. At the very end of his first term, Trump signed his historic executive order aiming to reimagine and reorganize America's stressed water resources, especially in the West. Joe Biden's election win thwarted that reform, and the need has only grown since. China has been aggressively buying farmland in America that has rich water reservoirs, as have billionaires like Bill Gates. That trend only further heightens the oft-stated battle cry that water is the new oil. Trump could consolidate the chessboard and make leadership of this pressing issue easier by naming a czar for water rights, just like he did for border security. Tom bitch-ass Homan's appointment and record as border czar is one of the administration's shining successes of his first 100 days in office. A water czar could be transformative for the second 100 days. Well, there you have it, folks. We need one man to control all the water, and that'll just get us even closer to Mad Max. So, let's see. In other news, the tools to address known exploitation by mobilizing technological deepfakes on websites and networks Act, or Take It Down Act. There's a pending bill in the United States Congress aimed for dealing with non-consensual intimate imagery or deepfakes posted to online sites and social media applications. So I guess Scared Ketchup might be in some trouble then, huh? Isn't Ivanka on some deepfake sites? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. And it looks like Elon Musk is going to be suing Attorney General for state of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, as Keith Ellison seeks to enforce some law attempting to crack down on deep fakes, use of artificial intelligence in political campaigns. And it really makes no sense why Elon is suing this guy, because the entire Congress just passed a new bill directly targeting deep fakes. And, it's an issue. Right now, they're just doing it with like porn and things, but eventually they're going to start superimposing people's faces on like murderers and use that as an excuse to ship you off to El Salvador or Rwanda. Not good. And here's another headline for you. House GOP unveils $69 billion border security plan ahead of global events because apparently they think we're actually going to have a World Cup and an Olympics. Um, maybe. Uh, I mean, I can't think of a better sort of illegal immigration trap to give Tom Bitch Ass Homan a little tingle in his leg than to, you know, just invite a bunch of foreign athletes here and their families for the World Cup and the Olympics, and then just shackle them all and shave their heads and ship them off. It could happen. Okay, this is really funny. Carolyn Leavitt gave a public smackdown to Amazon, and this is what she had to say.
Secretary, so it was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here.
Okay, so open public feuding between the Trump White House and Amazon. Problem is that apparently the story may have been spiked because they're not actually going to list the tariff prices. It was apparently just a rumor that Amazon isn't planning to show tariff costs next to its online product listings. But, you know, they just had to rush out there and open a can with Amazon. So I just wanted to point that out. And don't want to forget about Virginia Gouffre. She is now deceased. Um, I don't believe that she took her own life. She was young. She had something to fight for. Typically, you have something to fight for. You don't take your own life. And now her lawyer is, you know, saying the same thing, that he doesn't believe she took her own life. And, will there be justice? Who knows? Okay. So this is a development. Switzerland, apparently, investors around the world are dumping a lot of money in Switzerland as a safe harbor because America is no longer a safe harbor given the Trump tariffs. And Trump tariffs are putting pressure on Switzerland to drop the value of their currency as an offset to retain competitive pricing. However, simultaneous to the tariffs, the Swiss franc is being purchased by global investment groups and sovereign foreign countries as a safe harbor due to the stability of the currency, which is driving up the value of the franc. Now, we should be doing what Switzerland is doing, but instead we're stuck with Trump and tariffs. Just thought this was interesting coming from the conservative treehouse, and they still like the tariffs. Okay, now I'm just convinced that the Republican Party are sadists. Experts are warning there will be significant shortages in the United States by the end of next month. And this is Michael Snyder. This is right wing media, carried over from the Liberty Daily, red headline. I mean, this is so stupid. It would be difficult to overstate the seriousness of the crisis that we're facing. Just about every single industry in the United States is extremely dependent on imports from China, and now trade with China is essentially coming to a standstill. I wish that I was exaggerating, but I'm not. According to the World Trade Organization, trade between the United States and China will decline by as much as 80%. And that's jobs. That's food. I mean, eventually. Starts out as just junk, but then you sell it, makes money, use the money, buy food. It's just, can't believe it. Okay. Why does Tim Pool want an economic collapse? Let's check it out.
How much more you have to spend when you're buying a product made outside the U.S. Now, the White House has called this hostile against the U.S. and against the Trump administration, a hostile act, indeed, but Amazon is denying it. They're saying that it's not true. This report is false, but it does highlight a serious concern that has been in the news this morning, and that is, will we face shortages? Now, one story that's come up quite a bit.
Yeah, this story's already been debunked. I talked about that a little bit ago after Caroline Leavitt made her public attack on Amazon. They were never really going to do it. Let's see here. To do the precise quote, was never approved and is not going to happen, said Tim Doyle, the spokesperson for Amazon on this issue. But apparently it angered a lot of conservative media people. And, I tried to find this Tim Pool stream on his YouTube channel, but it's not there. Don't see it anywhere yet, but gonna keep going here.
Quite a bit, is a rumor circulating over a conversation Trump had with several CEOs in the Oval Office some weeks ago when he announced these massive tariffs on China, 145% in total. Several CEOs met with the president to say there will be empty shelves, that so much of what we get is made in China, not just core goods, but also components of goods even manufactured in the U.S., that this will cause supply shortages across the board. And it's not just the tariffs on China, it's the tariffs across the board. You're going to walk into a Target, shelves are expected to be empty. Now, Donald Trump's approval rating is down. And it's not just from these, look, I read like ABC News and Washington Post polls. I don't believe those for a second, but Rasmussen, we learned to pronounce it correctly, by the way, has Donald Trump down 4 points. It's not the worst approval rating in the world, and Rasmussen has been pretty dang accurate as it pertains to these elections. But it does show that Donald Trump's approval rating has declined this month as tariff concerns, economic concerns.
one of the first honest things that Tim Pool has said since Trump has been reelected. Um, Thanks, Tim.
Concerns continue to grow. Now, Ray Dalio, billionaire, he appeared on Tucker Carlson some weeks ago, and he said that we're in some kind of civil war. Something is happening. He's now put out another warning saying it's too late. It cannot be stopped. The tariffs that Donald Trump has put in place are going to result in a new global economic order, the likes of which we have never seen. Now, we don't know what that means. It could be very bad for us, could be very bad for everybody. One
It could be that Tim Pool might have a little pink eye. I don't know what's going on there. Looks a little inflamed. But nonetheless, here we go.
One proposed hypothetical is that nations around the world are going to start building economic ties with other countries, largely with China, as the U.S. is viewed as an unstable trading partner. But that being said, we don't really know exactly what will happen. One thing I can say is that if we do see shortages in food production or any kind of core consumer good, Donald Trump will face a revolt. Absolutely. You can say anything you
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for joining the party. I voted for this asshole myself, and I knew from the moment he sat down and signed that big stack of executive orders that this whole thing is just going to be a shit show. Because we don't we don't do this. We don't submit to rule by decree. So that was the giveaway from day one.
thing you want about deportations, about Abrego Garcia, about Maryland men, none of that matters. The protests that we see in response to Doge, nothing. They don't have any real impact. But if it becomes nigh impossible for regular people to access food, if there are shortages, then you're going to see anger in the streets. You're going to see demands for change, and this may, depending on how long it goes, upset the midterms. But wait, there's more. You see, elections, they happen in month cycles, not year cycles. If everything gets really bad right now, then as people adapt to a just bad enough, but not bad enough to where they revolt, if Trump turns things around right before the midterms, look, I know it may sound a little jaded and cynical, but people are going to vote for Republicans in spades. If Trump improves things for people right before the midterms, then they're going to vote Republican. And it seems really dumb, right? Like, you can have a standard of living that is okay.
I disagree. I'm not going to be voting Republican. I mean, I am Republican for what it's worth, but not going to be voting Republican. They need to be punished for what they've done to Canada, to our national image, reputation, sovereignty, dignity. Yeah. So sorry, dude. Not voting Republican.
Okay. Someone comes in and enacts policies which are damaging to that standard of living. People get really, really mad and they're upset you did it. But then right before the election, you bring everything back to normal and people will feel uplifted. They'll feel relieved. It's called the big ask. Now, whether or not Donald Trump is trying to pull off a big ask on the entirety of the American population remains to be seen. I'm not entirely confident that is the case, but we're going to break down the news we've got for you. I want to give a shout out to Steven Crowder in the Mug Club for rating this stream. Shout out to everybody. This is the Rumble Morning Lineup. I have your noon hour. My name is Tim Pool. You can follow me on X.
Okay. um, anyway, I'm not gonna I'm not going to watch the whole video and critique the whole thing, but it is about time for more Republicans to acknowledge that Trump is going to destroy everything, and the only way he's not is if we don't let him. All right. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel and share.